Today's podcast is brought to you by Behind the Tech with Kevin Scott. And there's Paul Thurrott, who is not the CTO of Microsoft.
Nope. I'm not even the CTO of my household, Brad.
I can relate to that.
This is kind of a chaotic situation here.
Yeah, it is kind of a Monday situation, I think.
Yeah.
I think is the best way to describe things. Paul, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Are you emotionally attached to the icon that is the start menu?
Oh boy. Well, it is a Windows flag and it is Windows, so I don't know emotionally, but here's what I'll say. If they want to turn it into a Microsoft logo, fine. If it's some other shit thing, like some stupid emoji or something, not fine. What are you telling me?
I think they're going to change it. I think we're going to see, because I'm pretty sure that's the Windows 8.
The current logo started with Windows 8. That's right.
Yeah. You might say there's some visual baggage there with the start menu and whatnot. And
it's also, because it's angled, it's kind of fading off into the distance. It's got that almost 45-degree turn to it, which is a look from older icons, like the Windows 7, Windows Vista era icons.
You're right.
Were all kind of angled, and they had different design element. This is at least flat, but yeah, like if you imagine that thing switching so it's flat forward, it would look. Well, actually, technically it is flat forward, but it would look like the Microsoft logo.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know exactly which route they're going to go, but I think we're going to see something different.
I think a Microsoft logo would look good there. In fact, now given how colorful the icons are in Windows 10, and they have a terrible palette, but they have colors at least. They could put the Microsoft logo colors in it, right? Instead of having it just be white. Because white, to me, the white thing is what's going away, like the stark orange,
right.
If you're in light mode, the black icon style. So, yeah.
So there you go.
I'm okay with it. I mean, some people are going to freak out because, that's what we do.
Well, I mean, there's a bit of a rich history. Last time they changed that, it was pretty dramatic. So, because it kind of opened up tile world or whatever we're calling it.
Well, there have been a lot of changes over the years, right? I mean, obviously, Windows 95 had that classic flag from the, that was refreshed visually. 98, same thing. And then, obviously XP did its own thing. Vista did its own thing with the orb. Remember, they actually, for a little while, that was called the Start Orb, if you can believe that.
Yeah.
Windows 7 had the actually an orb as well, right? That was round too.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so this one, they refreshed it a little bit, and then this, like you said, this one debuted in Windows 8. So, I mean, yeah, it seems like every couple of versions we get something. So, why not?
Yeah. I don't know if you saw this because it quite literally just happened. But the UK says it will intervene in SoftBank's sale of ARM to Nvidia on national security grounds. They're not saying no, but they're definitely not giving it the green light.
Oh, okay. I'll look at that when we're done. Interesting. A lot of opposition to that. I have a hard time understanding which company would be acceptable to everybody, right? I mean, because ARM is so important. I mean, ideally it would almost be like some kind of an industry symposium or something that owned it, or
considering they're British, they're probably thinking like maybe Jaguar will buy them.
Yes,
maybe Land Rover.
Is Range Rover still a thing? Yeah, or Land Rover. Yeah, exactly.
Although I don't think Jaguar is not even a British company anymore. I think they're actually Indian, if I remember. I think Tata.
I mean, they were bought by Ford and then sold, probably to an Indian company.
I think it was Tata who bought them, or somebody bought them. So I don't even think they're truly.
Maybe British Airways. Volvo's a Swedish company. They'll be fine. Oh wait.
What other great British companies are there that I can think of off the top of my head before everyone reminds us in the comments?
Rolls-Royce.
Yeah, right. But that's like a BMW.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Mini used to be a UK company. Now they're owned by BMW.
Yeah.
Whatever that company was called.
Who owns their taxi company? The black little car things? Maybe they should buy ARM.
What's the company that makes those red double-decker buses? Because they get a...
Maybe the mailboxes that everybody knows that are in all the Bond movies that really don't exist anymore too much.
Right.
So, anyways, here we are. It is Monday morning. You have a good whatever?
Yeah, it was okay. I worked on the book all day yesterday, so I made some headway there. Microsoft Edge is going to be a problem because they update it so often now. But I don't know. Not much is going on.
That's a problem I don't think we've ever experienced in the world of Microsoft browsers. It's updated too often.
That's too fast.
Yeah. Maybe you can make an Edge book.
I was kind of thinking about it. The Edge chapter is pretty long. I looked at what I would have to add to kind of bring it up to date with version 90. There's a bunch of stuff. I mean, it's, and there's a lot of little things that have changed. As I go through it, it's like the wording has changed, the location of things have changed. Yeah, I mean, in many ways, the browser is more relevant than Windows when it comes to having to know how everything works, So, yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Never know.
Well, if you want to explore how things work, there's a new episode out from Behind the Tech with Kevin Scott. He's talking with Ashley Lorenz as they talk about artificial intelligence, robotics, and autonomous systems. This is a podcast that dives behind the tech, and there's a huge back catalog. Make sure to add that to your podcast rigmarole. I was going to say rigmarole, but just playlist. Rigmarole on a Monday morning. You can find it on all major platforms. That is by Kevin Scott, the Chief Technology over at Microsoft. It is a good listen. You should add it to your rigmarole, I think is.
I look at my podcast rigmarole every couple of days looking for new episodes, and it's usually fruitless, I would say.
Yeah. So this morning, woke up, brushed my teeth, and NASA flew a drone on Mars, which is crazy to think about. I think
it started off like a Beatles song, by the way. Nice job. Woke up, got out of bed, ran a comb through my head.
Anyway, so that's waiting. They showed some very, I would call PowerPoint-esque footage. It was basically just slides of it just going up and down. But I'm hoping that they have some sort of higher-ish resolution video. I don't know. I guess my expectation these days are can we get 3D panoramas of these things? Don't we have the technology?
right,
but
like a VR experience.
Yeah,
this is gonna be like some alien waving it away, get out of here.
Yeah, that's what it should do. It should go up and take a picture, and there's just Bezos and Musk sitting over in a corner, just no,
sunning themselves.
Don't ruin
under a dome. Yeah.
Don't ruin our utopia. And then Larry Ellison's just in the background off on his own mountain.
Oh man,
I'm just saying, the Richard Branson could maybe be there too.
They're all welcome to go. I would, be fine with this.
So that's what happened this morning. Not too much else is happening. I guess it is a Monday.
Yeah. There's some stuff happening this week I can't talk about.
So there's GameStack Live from Microsoft is happening this week, conveniently timed along with Apple's spring event on Tuesday.
Yeah, which is rumors about this event is that and the fact that I'll be traveling, I guess, is what triggered me to recently buy an iPad, because the base iPad that I've been using is not being upgraded to the new style. It's going to be the fashion style, and I'm done with that. Same thing with the Mac Mini, and then the iPad Air is not being updated because it just was back in November probably. So I don't care about iPad Pro. Those are too expensive, for me to even worry about. But yeah, maybe we'll finally get AirTags, as we say before every single Apple event for the past 3 years.
This is the one.
And actually, honestly, the big news here is going to be if they announce another Mac based on an Apple Silicon chip, because the expectation is it could be a different generation chipset, it could be an M2 or whatever they're calling M1X or whatever. So we'll want to keep an eye on that, because honestly, the other thing I worked on this weekend, by the way, was I've been working on my MacBook Pro M1 review but I'm going on a trip this week, if you can believe that, on Thursday, a driving trip. But I want to bring the HP Spectre X360 14 with me, which is one of those awesome, unbelievable computers. But, the first gen M1 chips are amazing. I mean, they're just amazing, right? And the interest level in what happens next is kind of high, because they really hit it out of the park. I think they could have released an M1 with some compromises, and we would have been this is what happens. We saw how horrible it was getting Windows 10 on ARM. I mean, this would have been completely understandable. But, the fact that they kind of hit it out of the park makes it not, it's okay, now what are they going to do with the Pro machines, the real Pro machines, So we'll see. Maybe an iMac or something. That's one of the big rumors. Desktop, computer could have some, they don't really have, I guess I wouldn't call it dedicated graphics, but more advanced graphics or whatever.
It actually reminded me when you were saying about the outdated stuff. My dad was, we'll just say complaining, that his phone will not receive iOS 14. And he's like, "What is this?" He's like, "My phone's fine. Why do I got to buy a new phone to get?" He's got.
What kind of phone does he have?
I think it's a 6.
Yeah, that's old.
And he's like, "Dad, you could upgrade it." He's like, "But this one works fine." He goes, "I open the messaging app to message you. I open the phone app, and I occasionally check my email. What else do I need?" I'm like, "Well."
Then why does he need iOS 14?
Yeah, well, that's actually that's actually a good. Oh, I know why. Because the banking and I think a couple other apps that he uses, like stocks and news or
actually
whatever, require it, and that's what's starting to be the.
I mean, honestly, with the changes coming in iOS 14.5, you could make a compelling case for your parents that maybe now's the time to upgrade. To something newer.
I don't know. He's hellbent. He's like, I'm just going to walk in with these phones like Verizon or whatever. Like maybe I shouldn't fault him for this. He's like, it's just like shopping for a new car. You go to Verizon and be like, here's my 2 phones. What can you do for me? And it's like, then I'm going to go to T-Mobile and like, here's my 2 phones. What can you do for me?
Right.
Because now, because my parents are of the age, like they have senior plans, and I don't think they're on one of those right now. And I mean, why not? That's
Yep.
Anyways.
Yeah, they should upgrade. I mean, I would assume they could use a bigger screen too, right?
You would think, but
how old are your parents? What are they in their 60s?
Close to 70.
Yeah.
They do run the.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. You're 30, what, 2?
I'll be 36 this year.
36. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm at the age now, as I did a lot of yard work, moving mulch, that lift with the knees is more important now than ever in my life. Like, you hear that saying throughout all of your youth, and like now it's really becoming relevant. It's like, yeah, you got to lift with your knees, not with your back. Like I'm feeling it a little bit this morning carrying those bags of mulch.
I've thrown out my back at inopportune times. One of the best ones being when we were moving into our first apartment, and I was lifting a couch with Stephanie's father and wrenched my back and could no longer help for the rest of the day. Let me tell you, I built up a lot of goodwill on that day, with her father having to do all the heavy lifting. But, these things happen. You get old,
Which reminds me of my favorite unsolved math problem. I got to double check, and somebody can feel free to correct me because I know you will. I believe one of how there's like these like unsolvable math problems out there, and like if you solve one, like you can win some money or whatever. I believe one of them is related to the largest size couch that can fit around a hallway corner. And like I probably mentioned this at some point, but you're saying that like it's not been solved. Like it's
a good Family Guy skit about this.
Yeah,
just my left. Like it just goes. How Family Guy things go on for like 5 minutes. Like we've all experienced this. The intricate Jenga / video game style of like I gotta Tetris this thing through the doorway around a corner.
Solve the math problem, maybe win $1 or $2. Or you could win by checking out Behind the Tech with Kevin Scott. That wraps it up for today, folks. Today is Monday. We'll be back on Tuesday because that's how the world works.